All right, Matt. I want to start by going back to last year. I know you didn't talk much about your injury at the time, but looking back, there's about a 90-point difference in OPS from before to after. When you got into the off season and started thinking about it, how much did that impact what you were able to do at the plate?
It definitely impacted it. It's just kind of sucks because we were starting to roll.
Hmm.
We were in first place in June, going to Dodger Stadium to go. Uh, we were going to Colorado and then going to the Dodgers, and we were tied with the Dodgers going into that series. Then obviously, took different paths, during the summer, but for me, it's disappointing not in like my own, statistics. Yeah, did it affect my season? And I did not feel the same once I came back. And I also came back as fast as I, possibly could, when it probably needed more time to heal. But I felt like before I got hurt, I was really starting to swing the bat well. I was playing well. We were starting to roll. And we had some good momentum going into that road trip. And then unfortunately I got hurt, and, um, it just sucks to not be able to help the team out.
You came back much earlier than anyone expected, and you end up having to deal with it again. Did you learn anything about, or would you just do that again the same way and just go, I need to be out there with the guys?
It's hard. It's like that's kind of my nature is to, I feel guilty when I don't play. I feel bad not being there for the guys. And it's like I would rather be out there and play through pain than just sit and watch. But I think the issue is like, am I helping the team if I'm not able to play at my full strength? And I mean, obviously, somewhat yes, somewhat no. So I kind of had to try to weigh those options. But it got to the point where my hand was hurting too bad. I had to kind of shut it down again and get some cortisone shots and finish the season and did what I could. But unfortunately, it just needed like, all reality, it probably needed like 3 months to
Yeah,
heal. And I only gave it a month.
yeah.
And, um, I feel great now. I'm healthy.
Mhm.
Everything's good. It's healed up. So I'm excited, and I'm going to be a little bit smarter on the bases, and not, it sucks to get hurt
It's
running
a
the
weird one though.
bases.
I
And
mean, just to
yeah, it was just a
yeah,
weird play. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to try to steal bases, but I'm just going to, sometimes I guess you have to accept the fact that if you get picked off, you get picked
yeah,
off, and don't just try to be a Superman and
yeah.
do something crazy and hurt yourself. So unfortunately, that's the way it happened. And it just sucks because we were playing really well. Willie was starting to heat up.
Yeah.
Me and Willie could have been, playing really well together. We didn't really line that up last season. And then we got Rafi, and obviously it took Rafi a little bit to get going, but once he got going, he looked like himself. He did great. So I'm really excited about this year having the three of us all, clicking at the same time.
I tweeted this yesterday, a video of Rafi taking BP, just like a reminder that he's here the whole year. For you guys to have him here and you're in his BP group, you're doing work with him back there. He's just kind of different than most hitters. What's that going to mean to this lineup to have a full year of Devers?
And it means it's going to mean a lot. He's an elite hitter. He's been elite his whole career. And I think something that's probably overlooked with him is just like he's a smart baseball player. He's a smart hitter. He understands how guys pitch him, what he's looking for. He's not. He doesn't just go out there and just swing. He's got a real good routine. He's always, working on getting a good feel and getting in a good position. So I think he's just a very advanced hitter, and I think that's why he's so consistent. Every single year you can freaking pencil the dude in for 30
Mhm.
and 100 and 870 OPS, whatever it is. Like he's just been super consistent. And I think for him to be in our lineup every single day is just going to be huge for us. He's a presence in the lineup. He's somebody that people, circle and pay attention to. And, I think he's going to be a guy that can help carry us. And we have a lot of other guys around him that are really good. And I think this year our lineup is definitely has a lot more length to it. It's going to be hard to navigate. And, I think we're all going to be able to, really build off of
Mhm.
each other.
There's a lot made of what happened in Boston when he was leaving. Tony tells us yesterday he gives his first full speech, and he said you were one of the guys who talked to the team. He said Devers did as well, and I've heard from some other guys has been maybe a little more vocal behind the scenes than we might expect. What kind of teammate have you found him to be?
I think he's an amazing teammate. I think the whole Boston thing just kind of got, I maybe a little bit misconstrued, or I think that they kind of just mishandled the relationship. I don't think it had anything to do with Rafi. I talked to guys that played with him. They all loved him. Bregman loved him. All his teammates loved him. I think they were all sad to see him go. We're happy to get him. That's obviously, not here nor there anymore.
Yeah.
It's not our issue, but I think that, I think it was more so just, weird situation, probably got some bad communication mishandled, but all my experiences with Rafi have been unreal. He's a great teammate, great person. Everybody loves him. Team loves him. And yeah, maybe he's not a guy that's going to stand up in a meeting and call a meeting or do something like that. But he's been called on. He speaks. He talks to guys one-on-one. Really helps guys in the cage. He's a good teammate. He cares about his teammates, and I think he's the right guy for us.
A new teammate for you, Luis Arias. I would imagine as a third baseman, you're always kind of on high alert when he's at the plate, knowing this might get shot the other way.
For sure. With the way he handles the bat, I mean, he can put the bat on the ball in any situation, hit the ball anywhere, and I know where he's looking. He has the actual ability to hit it where he's looking. So I was trying to follow his eyes and see where he's hitting in the 6 hole, and we had a little good game of cat and mouse going. I'd steal some hits from him, he'd hit some past me. So it was fun competing against him, but I'm really excited to have him at the top of our lineup and in the lineup every single day playing second base. I think he's going to surprise people defensively.
Yeah.
I also just think that, like I was talking about, lengthen in our lineup. Now we kind of, our infield is set. Our outfield looks like it's pretty set. We got Patrick Bailey behind the plate. So it's like we have an everyday lineup. It's like that was something last year where, we didn't have, a guys set in positions all the time. So I think when you have, 8 or 9 guys that you're running out there almost every day, or at least seven starters every single day, you get comfortable. There's a familiarity playing with each other. You get comfortable where you're hitting the lineup. And then that's when you start to, see, the best brought out of guys. And I think, you pay attention to some of the best teams in the league and, the top half of their lineup or their everyday position players, it looks the same every day.
Tony has talked about that, the importance of just knowing kind of it's on autopilot is the way he put it. For you, how big of a difference is this from 2 years ago when you first got here to now? I mean, Willie's at short, Rafi's at first, Luis is going to be at second. Like you said, you kind of know who's going to be there with you every single day.
Yeah, it has changed a lot. It's grown, but that's why I stayed here, is because I knew what Buster's vision was, and that we were going to try to create a perennial winning team, and a team that's going to make the playoffs every year, compete for the division. That's our goal, is to win the division and win the World Series. So that was my goal. That's Buster's goal. And it starts with getting guys like that, and, I'm proud to be a Giant, proud to be here. And, I'd like to think that, because I signed here and stayed here, good things started happening. I think that, Willie came here because I came here, and Rafi was okay with coming here because, me and Willie were here and we wanted to win. And then, now other guys want to come here, and Bader chooses to come here. Rias chooses to come here. More guys that I see off the field want to come here. Guys want to play here. Guys want to be here. Guys want to be a part of it. They see what we're doing. So, I'm extremely excited for, what this season brings. And, I'm glad that the Giants gave me the opportunity. And, I thank Webby for that, for getting me here. So I think, Webby's been here since the beginning, but, they've been building something, and they're bringing Robbie and me. And, I think we all believed what this could be. And, I think this year we're going to see a massive step forward for the Giants.
In 2021, Buster stood up in that room up there and said, let's go win the division. And everyone kind of went, well, the Dodgers have won 8 years in a row. They've won 2 titles in a row. They keep getting better. You talk about winning the division. How do you vocalize that with your teammates and maybe help them explain to them that, like, you can't go out there and just be like, we're a wild card team this year?
No, and I think that comes with the experience. I think that's what helps by getting position players like Bader, Arias, and now me and Willie and Devers. So it's like, when you have a bunch of guys that maybe haven't got a ton of experience or understand that, it's like, instead of having to go out there and just say it or be rah-rah or explain it, it's like we go out there every day, and it doesn't matter who we play, we expect to win, and this is how we play, and this is how we do things. And now we have more and more guys that do that on the position player side. It just, the young guys are, you kind of show them the way, right? And then they understand that, okay, this is what we do, and this is the commitment we make every day, and this is who we are, and this is what we expect. So I think for me, it's about us getting the right guys in the lineup every day and going out there and just setting the tone and being like, this is what is expected of you when we go out here. And that's win every day. It doesn't matter if we're playing the Dodgers or we're playing the Rockies. It's like we expect to win. We're going to go out there and win, and it doesn't matter who we're playing. Like we're going to go out there and win and play our game. So I think that's the biggest thing. And, the best teams I've been on do that. I've played in a lot of tough divisions with good teams. So I don't think we shy away from anything. And, we go out there and expect to win. Doesn't matter who we play.
Buster has talked about having a bit of an edge, and he says that's one thing that drew him to Tony, and maybe even being uncomfortable for other teams to play. What does that mean to you?
Kind of that, building off of like what I was saying there, but I think it's good. It's good to be. I've been on plenty of teams that are counted out, and the teams I played on with the A's, like nobody expected us to win 97 games 2 years in a row, but you have enough guys that take the field and believe that and play like that, and then it's kind of contagious. So I think we, as a group, understand that we are really good. Doesn't matter if we're projected to come in fourth place or this team is on paper better than us or whatever it is, or people don't believe in us, whatever it is, or we've dropped a couple games in a row. It doesn't matter. We go out there, we know we're good. We have a group we believe in. And just kind of using that as to stick together and play with an edge, and then just that becomes the way you play the game. And then that's how you play winning baseball. And that's, I think, any team that wins plays like that, and you can kind of call it whatever you want, but it's like even a team, like the Dodgers last year wins, they play the game the right way. Mm-hmm. They play the game hard. They don't give in. So I think that's playing with an edge for me. It's like, yeah, it maybe becomes more glaring if you're maybe not the team that's projected to be number one or whatever it is, but playing with an edge to me just means, never giving in, trusting yourself, believing in the guys that you have around you. And it doesn't matter who you play, we're expecting to win. We're going to play hard, and we're not going to back down from the challenge.
It's no secret you're very close to Bob Melvin. You were in his corner last year multiple times when we talked to you. When the change happened and Tony got brought in, was there anything Tony had to prove to you? I know he said he wanted to talk to you right away and meet with you here. Was there anything you needed to see from him?
No. I was all on board once he got hired. It's part of the business. I love Bo Mel. I love Rhino. I love Matty, G, all those coaches that I've been with for, 7 years of my career. I played with those guys, but I understand that, the way that we finished the season last year, it's kind of ugly. Somebody's got to take the blame. You can't just fire the whole team. So I understand that, things like that happen. I would have always loved to win a World Series with Bo Mel. That was always our goal, but sometimes that's just not the way, things go. Baseball is a business. I feel extremely lucky to have gotten to play with him again. Who knows what's going to happen with him and those guys, but I was pumped. I'm here to be a Giant. I'm here to win. I had no preconceived notion that Tony had to prove something to me or whatever that is. I was all on board from the second that he called me and reached out. Just want to let him know that I'm all on board. I'm here to win. Whatever you need from me, I'm all in. So and I think that there's always question marks with guys that don't have experience in the major leagues or whatever it is, but he's won everywhere he's been. Just from his presence and the way he communicates and the way he carries himself, it shows why he's successful. I think that he's definitely very motivational, very wise, understands the game of baseball. So I think winning baseball, whether it's in college, high school, professionals, minors, there's slight differences, but winning baseball is winning baseball. There's not too many different formulas. So he understands that. He's going to learn quickly, and I'm just super excited. And I know that from the beginning, whatever Buster does, his vision, and my vision are the same. He wants to win. I trust Buster. I trust that Tony made a big impact on him in his meetings, and so I was all in from the beginning. And from my handful of days here, and from hanging with him and seeing him in the off season a couple times, I think it's been he made the right choice, and I understand why. I'm super excited.
I'll finish with this. There's this weird shadow hanging over this entire season, the uncertainty of a potential lockout next year, and it seems like it's getting talked about a lot. Even though the game has been in a great place the last couple of years, you've been doing this for a long time. How do you veterans, how do you as players, maybe guys who are going to have more of a vested interest in making sure the Players Association gets what it needs? How do you handle this season and what's coming?
Yeah, I mean, I think most baseball players are, you know, task at hand kind of guys. This season is the most important thing. And then we'll kind of worry about that stuff when it comes. But my personal opinion on it is I'm really not worried about it. I think that you can't believe everything that you read. Baseball's in a great spot. Just look at the World Series this last year. I mean, so many people watched it. I mean, just if you compare the Super Bowl to the World Series, I mean, look at how entertaining the World Series was. So I think that baseball, the new rule changes, a lot of things have helped the game. The game's in a great spot. Owners are making a ton of money. Games in a great spot. High attendance, high ratings. People love it. So I just don't see any reason to kill any good momentum we have going with the game. We have too many good things going. So my personal take is I'm really not worried about it. I think that the owners and MLB, Manfred, they understand what I just said. They know that baseball's in a great spot. The Players Association and the players are always ready to come to the table. So I really don't see an issue. I think it's gonna be a great 2026 season for MLB, and then I think it's just gonna continue to build.
All right, thank you, sir.